Hi, welcome back to my channel. Antoinette here. I'm going to do a VR to Fairlight Tarot. She started a hashtag called the hashtag Beloved Monsters Deck, and I have watched a couple of channels actually. That's how I found out about this one. So I will link the people that got me to this point and their videos below, as well as Sylvie at Fairlight Tarots, so that you can get an idea of what you're looking for. So for those who don't know, this is Fairlight's page. I've screenshot it because I haven't got any signal down here. So hashtag Beloved Monsters Deck. And it was a VR invite for anyone that wants to do it. So it's not specific. And I've screenshot her prompts. So we've got the explanation here. So I know what I'm looking at and what's going on. Now this is just a little bit of background explanation. So spooky season. We are now in the peak of it, so it is All Hallows Day 30. So here in UK, many of us call it Samhain, Halloween, Samhain, whatever you want to call this, All Hallows Eves. But I recently was reminded, and it is a term I'd heard as a child and not heard much more of it since as an adult and almost forgot it existed, was Hallowtide. Hallowtide being the term that encompasses all of the days around the end of October into November. It's actually covers about 7 days, I think, in total, or probably more than that, because I haven't really investigated, of all the different dates that have kind of been taken over and rolled into this thing that we call Halloween, or that now everyone on every meme is calling Samhain, depending on what it is that they're trying to make claims that they're linked to. But that seems to be like a really popular thing. And now when I read the rhymes, you can tell when someone's changed it to Samhain when it should have said Halloween. It's really funny. It's interesting. Anyway, that's my own by the by. But because we're into this is, I think, the reason for this hashtag being created. And it's based on, so she's based this on horror movies, horror movie characters and figures, and she's given it a lot of thought. So we're going to run through. And on top of this, I will be a bit cheeky and I will promote my own hashtag that I currently have going as well. So let me just show you that one. More so because we're in the season, that's why I'm doing this. So I've done a broader kind of prompt for doing a spread and divination work and crafting and witches work and natural works and, you know, just making things in this kind of dark season for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. Doesn't mean you can't do it if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, but some of the prompts might not make quite so much sense. They may or they may not, because I've done it on a Wise Witch's House. So this PDF with my prompts, my drawing, and the 2 witches prompts and tarot prompts here are available on my channel, and then you can join in, and by all means, please, like, I welcome VRs as well, much like Sylvie has for this one, and I'd love to hear what people are up to. You don't have to give us a full reading if you don't want to, but certainly, like, show us your decks, show us what you're making, what you're creating. And again, you don't have to give away all your secrets. Just show us how you create. Like, what is the basis on how you create these things? How do you make lotions, potions, kitchen cookery? You know, all those lovely good things to share, because it's, you know, cozy season. Right, so let's get going. First prompt is the Frankenstein, a collage deck that's misunderstood but has a heart of gold. I didn't have to think about this one, but I have tried not to go where everyone else has gone. So I haven't seen every single video to this, but I've gone with the Alleyman's Tarot. I found this deck once I created it. So my actual deck is in a bag and all my extra cards are in there, because I was trying to work out how to create oracles. So this deck for me, I think, is definitely heart gold. It seemed to get to the minutiae of the issues for me, and I really enjoy working with it. I mean, I don't use it very often because, as we know, my collection is growing abundantly, and it's very hard to spend time with all the decks. But this one, I just love the fact that it's all different decks put together. I know it says collage specifically. You know, collage can mean a lot of things, can't it? Creating, molding, melding together. All the decks from different people. Some have collage art, some have kind of graphic-y art, some have more what looks like penmanship to them. But this was the deck that I thought of, that came to mind. And this is I can't remember what this card is from, but I would really love this deck. I need to see if it's still available. It was a gorgeous deck. I just didn't back it. Shame. So yeah, so this is my Frankenstein. And also I think when I'm thinking Frankenstein, I'm thinking something that's been put together. So lots of parts to create a whole from different places, kind of, lending themselves to that creation of the whole being. My other reason for this being my Frankenstein. I've got that song in my head, be my Frankenstein. I can't even remember who sings it. So that is deck 1. Let's find deck 2. Okay, no introductions. I mean, deck 2 is the Dracula, a deck that is sensual and sophisticated. It's in the title, right? So we could have had this one. Really great deck. I've gone with this one, the original Tarot of Vampires, because the prompt for this is, so those are the backs. I still haven't got around to edging it, but you can see where I've touched up all those damaged cards that I've talked about previously on this deck. So this one is a deck that is sensual and sophisticated. I think the guidebook is what makes this so sophisticated as a deck in whole, because this is what people buy this deck for, is what's in here. And this is when decks and guidebooks were made without just being regurgitated with the same information, minus a few words. My personal opinion, unpopular opinion, hashtag. But yeah, it has like kind of sensual in it. It's romantic, goth romantic. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea art-wise, which is why the other vampire deck might do it for you. But I just think, there's lots of just the way it's drawn, like you can see the pain. For me, that brings that kind of sensual aspect, like you can see the feelings within it. It tries to encapsulate the romantic goth element of everything, but at the end of the day, vampires, they're killers, right? They're not that romantic, but it does do a fairly good job without it being too overtly sexualized, I think, because some of these decks in this genre are ridiculously clad people who are going to catch a cold if they go out dressed like that. But yeah, so I thought this one makes my Dracula deck. No surprises really. I guess this is going to be on most people's list. But I have my eye out for people that come up with others. I mean, there's all the other Dracula decks, but I don't have them. So those are the 2 that I have, vampire decks. I'll just pop that one away. Right, number 3 is the werewolf deck that's used on a full moon. Now, I've got 2 because I couldn't decide. This one, because it is the 3 moons edition. Use it on the full moon. It's got 3 moons in it. I have shuffled them in, and that's where they are, all within the deck. So let's take a look at this one first. So the Serpent and the Peacock. This is the Learner's deck. This is the one that's available from Libra Moon's website, and is designed with keywords on the cards. It's got that gorgeous holographic foiling with the reversible backs, and it's the medieval art that we've come to love seeing on her cards. So I thought this one makes my werewolf deck for the full moon. Any of the Serpent and Peacock decks really would work here, but this one, as I said, because it's got 3 moons in it, and that is the name of the deck, the edition. So Learn Tarot with the 3 moons edition. So I thought this one, the moon number 2, I don't know where moon number 3 is, whether it would make a show or not. So that's that one. And there is the Oracle, at the time of me filming this on the 30th of October 2023, the Oracle that goes with this, the Moon Oracle, I think that's what it's called, is now live on Kickstarter. So I have put my backing in with the creator for that. So that's one. And then this is the one, because I feel like in the full moon, this time of year as well anyway, the White Witch Tarot. This is a Mages Only deck, and it's written with poetry in the guidebook. So it's just set up a bit differently, and I think the artwork on this is, again, divine. And under a full moon, it's going to, it just makes it pop. The darkness with the lights and the pictures, to me, just makes it feel like a moon type deck. And being majors, so you're only going to get big answers when you're working under the full moon. And so I feel like that's quite a fitting thing to be doing as well with it. So this is my werewolf deck. Okay, so the next one is the Grim Reaper. Now, the Grim Reaper is a little bit more or less friendly on this prompt. So the Grim Reaper is a deck that feels very final and unmovable. And I've got to say, that's this one. I've not worked with it much, but the times I have worked with it, it has told me that I'm asking the wrong questions. So Terra Volatile. This is I thought it was 2nd edition, but it's the 3rd edition because there was one that got taken off production line, so which I wasn't aware of. So we've got this one. The artwork is gorgeous, but this deck already is quite selfish in its use. It doesn't want to be shared, so it doesn't feel like it's going to allow me to come and spend a bit of time with it and then go away and come back to it after I've played with some other decks. Like this one just seems to want it's like the needy child. It wants all of my attention. But with its answers, it was very unmovable. You know, I was asking like, how are we going to work together? And then it told me I'm asking the wrong questions. And there's a few other kind of questions as well that I did with it. And it just didn't want to expand. So it was almost like, there's your card. Understand what's in the card. I'm not expanding on this subject matter anymore for you. So yeah, that is why this one is in the pile, and just absolutely gorgeous artwork. This edition is available. I've got a walkthrough of this along with how I put my deck together, the extra cards that came with it, and the expansion pack that I have, and the book. So Terra Volatile, which I thought was Spanish, but it might be Portuguese. So terrible. I really haven't looked into it, but it's from Terra. So that's where you can find symbology and things. I'm sure if you just type in Terra Volatile, it takes you to their Creda Quia Absurdium kind of site. But yeah, so that is my Grim Reaper. Next up is the Creature from the Black Lagoon, a deck that loves water but not afraid of getting dirty. I don't have a watery deck like this, but I do have a deck that I know many people have pulled out. And there you go. Now you know what it is. This one isn't afraid of getting dirty, so I have put it in here for that reason. Although it says Black Lagoon, this could be a creature from any hole. It's a really nice deck that's got it's kind of like got a bend in it, but it doesn't bother me. So just slip everywhere. But I love the artwork in this. It's a great deck. Many of you know I love this deck. So this is my Madam Lydia, as I call it affectionately, because the title is just too dang long. But yeah, so there's plenty of things that come out from the darkness in here. That's why I'm calling it like my Black Lagoon deck. I mean, even that one, the water pouring from the mouth. But it's just got some really great additions to this deck. I mean, the little skulls. Yeah, so this is my Black Lagoon deck. Needless to say, it's been out all month. That's that one. We have this one's next. So this one's called the Freddy Krueger, a scruffy deck that has a terrifying sense of humour. I haven't used this much this year. I did use it last year a bit. Again, too many decks. This was one created by a fellow tarot community member. And these are my Tangi cards. This is my Tangi cards tarot deck, which she created. So it is AI kind of creation. But she has also, sorry, I'm trying to find them all the right way up. But she's also manipulated them as well. And she's done different backs to go with these. We've got, which I just love. So yeah, so there's no surprise there, especially given that I love the Ali Man cards. And this deck was created, so she has loads and loads of images that she created, manipulated. It's no longer available. Only a few of us got these decks from her. It was just because she's such a great medium and channeler that I wanted it. So when I say Freddy Krueger, it's kind of scarily freaky, with lots of darkness hidden inside there as well. But I just love the way it's put together. It kind of has a whimsy to it in a way for me, but for others less so. But I just think it has that... Freddy Krueger scared me when I was a child. When I watched it again more recent, I got the kind of dark humour. Same with Lost Boys. When I was a young child, 11-year-old, Lost Boys scared me as a horror film. Now I understand its comical element to it as well, the dark humour behind there. So yeah. So for me, there is some dark humour in this deck. This is my Freddy Krueger deck for prompt number 6. Scruffy, terrifying sense of humour. Just gorgeous images in this. No idea how she came up with them all and how much time she spent. I know she spent hours and hours and hours playing and making. But there we go. I say it's the only one I've got. It's the only one I know that I own. Put it that way. Next, prompt number 7. The Chucky, a doll-like deck that may stab you in the back. Okay. Are you ready? Garbage Pail Kids. There's the backs. Nice thick cardstock. It's doll-like, they're Chucky-like. Obviously, any tarot deck's going to stab you in the back. So I just thought this was a nice, fun element to throw in here, especially given the type of cards that we were talking about. I mean, look at her, the Queen of Coins. She's fantastic. Really should have got this one out for Halloween. Brilliant deck. So, yeah, this is my Chucky deck. There's a whole raft that could have come here at this point. Anything cute, anything maybe doll-like Nicoletta Ciccoli, the Beautiful Creatures tarot deck, perhaps. So that's that one. Prompt number 8, Zombie, an airy deck that's hungry for brains. Now then, I went with hungry for brains as literal. So hungry for brains is this one. This takes a lot of brains. This is the one from norabrown.com, I think. It's not on the box anywhere. I think that's the name of the website. There's the backs. So this is a multi-layered, so much stuff in it that I'm even writing on it. You've got glyphs. That's the word. I was about to call them runes. So you've got glyphs. You've got your degrees of the deacons. You've got your name. You've got your alchemical pictures. You've got your medieval pictures. You've got your layers. You've got your Thoth laid into this. You've got your other deck meanings laid into this. I mean, it really is the book. So there's 2 books that could go with this. I've only got book 1. Just very dense text. So much knowledge in this. Completely different way of approaching the tarot to the decks that we're used to, which just go straight for RWS and Thoth. This one went with specifically the medieval imagery from a certain period, and that fitted within a certain equation that Nora Brown, that's not what she writes on her decks, is it? Christine Payne Towler and Michael Dowers created in this deck. So the years of research and knowledge is just phenomenal. And I think it's gorgeous. There are other decks I could have popped into this one. I could have popped in something like the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. That also has some very great imagery and lots of elements laid up on it for a airy deck. I don't have any zombie tarot, so I would have obviously put a zombie deck in here, but this is one we got. So number 9, Pennywise the Clown, a deck that's deceivingly whimsical, but it's actually very intense. So I went with something that looks whimsical. tarot nuages. Here are the backs. Beautiful deck. Not one that I would use this time of year specifically, so it's not been out on my desk or anything, but I've seen lots of people using this one. Made up in the fairy kingdom, so got plenty of whimsy within the story of the cards, the layers that sit there, and the goblins that live in their little fairy kingdom. And it's nice. It's a fairly muted colour palette actually for me. But I don't mind that. I quite like it. I like the pops of colour because the colour's there in exactly what I just said before I repeat myself and sound daft. So yes, I think this one makes up my Pennywise the Clown instead of just going for a standard clown deck. So there we are. And then Mummy, a deck that's covered in many layers. Okay, I've gone for one that's on my shelf. It's one of two actually I could have pulled out here as well at this point. I pulled out the Handle Tarot. It's got, yeah, so those are the backs. It's got 2 blank cards in the deck. I think mine is completely in order because I haven't even started, never mind haven't finished, I haven't even started going through it. I've got the 2 books to go with this. Gisele at Mad Witch has already started studying it, but I haven't. It's got so many layers. So we have glyphs, we've got runes, we've got other symbols in here. I did a walkthrough of this. I think I knew what they all were at that point, but I don't anymore. It also has the I Ching in here, or I Ching symbols as well in the pip cards. But there is so much stuff layered into this deck. That's why I'm calling it the Mummy, covered in many layers. I know at this point lots of people have also gone with a Benabel Wen deck. But I thought this one, and it was this one over the Spirit Tarot. Because of the additional layer here with the I Ching. So that was why this one made it in over the my other one. Which actually, as I've mentioned, I should give it a little quick shout out, shouldn't I? So I'll show that one. Put it away. Get the honourable mention out, which is the Tower of the Spirit by Pamela and Joyce Eakins. Again, there's the backs. Exceptionally multi-layered. This is very multi-layered. The book is huge, absolutely huge. And she's got lots of videos on her website with this one. But it was the handle just because it had the extra elements in it for the Mummy. But this one has the layers in a different format, basically, for me with this one. So they're both equally heavily layered. All need time to study. So at the moment I use them on a superficial level for basic tarot readings. I think that's all of the prompts. I think that's the 10. So yeah, what are your hashtag beloved monster decks? I think she said that you can change out the prompts if you have a thought of another prompt that you'd rather have in there. So again, you can change them up. And if you're feeling like it, I invite you also to have a go at this one and give me a response to this one as well. Until the next one, take care. Bye-bye.